Aye.
So moved.
You. So we have Morley McNeil from Department of Natural Resources with us this evening. Department of Lands and Forestry, I guess maybe it's your proper name now. I'm not sure, Morley, but thank you very much. Morley is the area manager and he has a couple of his technicians with him tonight. We had some questions and concerns about some of the issues with natural resources or lands and forestry, and he has agreed to come and talk to some of those issues. So he has a short presentation that he'll do. He's going to introduce his staff. So we're going to turn it over to you, Mr. McNeil, and then we will probably have questions at the end of your presentation and comments.
Okay, thank you, Bruce, and thank you for the invitation. Yeah, I thought I'd start off with just introducing some of the staff we have here. And they're just going to give you a brief summary about some of the files they work on. We have Tanya Borgel. Tanya works mostly with the parks file and the fire duty file for Victoria County. Also with us today is Jonathan Murray. Jonathan Murray handles mostly the gun ranges and wildlife issues in Victoria County. And Jennifer Stephen, she does the Crown Land, coastal, and pest detection for the county. And myself, I'm area manager for both Inverness and Victoria County. So those are the three groups of mostly what the techs do in Victoria, although they have lots of other duties besides that, you guys could probably understand. So I'm just going to go around the room. We'll just give a quick introduction, and then after they do that, if you guys still have questions, we'll just put it out there. We don't have a formal presentation as such, but Jonathan, if you want to start off with some wildlife stuff.
Yep.
Can you guys hear us okay?
Yeah, yes, kind of far away, but we can hear you.
Good evening, folks. Jonathan here. Morley mentioned on the wildlife tech is my main duties for Victoria County, and most of the times we deal with is nuisance wildlife. This time of year is a busy time for nuisance wildlife, as a lot of the animals are out and about having young, and the bears have emerged from their dens from the hibernation. Deal a lot with the bears this spring. It's an ongoing issue. We try to educate the public and our clients, and we always try to, I guess, see what we can improve on as in deterrence and education purposes when it comes to bear issues in the county. Last winter was a little slower winter for our deer, but usually Highway 105 here just outside the deck is a hot spot for roadkills. And from February 1st to May 15th, we take biological samples. So we sex and age the deer. If it's a female, we cut out and we count the fetuses along with bone marrows. That goes with our, I guess, our deer licenses for the year and whatnot, and also just the health of a herd within and around the areas. Another thing we deal with, or I deal with myself, is the two ranges we have in Victoria County, Hunters Mountain and White Point. We work with our Canadian Firearms Officer, or Chief Firearms Officer, sorry, to address any issues that come up within the two ranges. And last year we had a project up in White Point. We built a new shooting hut, and we're just trying to get the 5-year approval going. So we have some work going on in both ranges that hopefully we get them both up to speed and the same kind of design and spec for both ranges. So hopefully there shortly they'll both look brand new and they'll be almost a mirror image of each other. So that's just a quick rundown. I'll pass it on to Tanya.
Great, thanks, Jonathan. Can you guys hear me okay, or should I move closer to the mic? Thumbs up if I'm okay.
A little closer, maybe, because it's too much echo when you talk.
We're all trying to stay 6 feet, so it's
Oh, that's true. Sorry.
I'll just move back.
Yeah. Okay, so hi, everybody. As Jonathan said and Morley said, my name is Tanya Borgel. I'm also a forest technician here at the BDEC office. So the department is responsible for the detection, suppression, and prevention of wildfires. There's the head office for fire program in Shubenacadie. We have the Provincial Wildfire Center up there. and Shubenacadie, and they're the folks that do the program development. Here at the district level, we're the ones that implement the actual program. So what does that mean? As a technician, we are responsible for suppression. So if a fire started in the woods or in the grass and went into the woods, we're the folks that actually put the fire out. We also do training with the municipal volunteer fire departments. And we also are responsible for maintaining any equipment and giving it to the departments as well for fighting forest fires. Here in the counties, Victoria and Inverness, we cover both counties for fires. So there's a dozen technicians between the two offices. I think it's a dozen technicians between the two offices. So when we're on fire duty, we cover both counties, all of Victoria and Inverness, if there's any fires. We have about 10 members in our fire crews to also respond to forest fires. And I'm going to put a little plug in here about illegal burns. We're getting a lot of calls lately about people that are burning when they're not supposed to. So anytime between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m., there should be no burning. Unless you have an industrial burning permit, there should be no burning whatsoever. So no campfires in your yard, no brush burning between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. any day during the fire season, which is March 15th to October 15th. So that's my plug. And I also look after parks in Victoria County. We have 6 day-use parks. I see Norman there. Cabot's Landing is one of them. So yeah. So we have 6 day-use parks, and we have 5 caretakers that help assist take care of those parks. So at the district level here, we're responsible for the operation and maintenance of those 6 day-use parks. And that's all I'm going to say. I will hand it off to Jen Stevens.
Just move up a little bit. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So as I said, my name is Jennifer Stephen. I mainly look after Crown land in Victoria County, so that involves monitoring harvest operations on Crown land, doing permitting on Crown land, so any LOAs or anything that can be issued locally would go through me. If something needs to be issued through our land services branch in Halifax, I assist the applicant with their application. And then we also do what is called an integrated resource management report, where all staff have give their input on whether the request should be approved or denied. Another thing I do is coastal waters permits. So any wharves or moorings or anything like that would go through myself as well. I'm also looking after protected beaches, and I assist the Department of Environment with wilderness areas as well. And the other thing I do is pest detection. So any trapping or monitoring for spruce budworm and hemlock looper, that's something that I'm involved with as well. And I know one of the things that I've been in contact with the municipality over lately, one of the projects I'm working on is getting proper signage on some of the protected beaches. North Harbor has been done the beginning of May. So there's they sent us brand new protected beach signs. They have all of the, no camping, no bonfires, keep your dogs on a leash, all of that information is on the sign, as well as the number to call if you see any violations. That will get the caller to our radio room in Shubenacadie, where they will send the information to the conservation officer with the Department of Environment, who is on duty at that time or on call. So if they call that number, it goes directly to them. So it's better to use that number rather than contacting our office, because it cuts out a bunch of middlemen. The other beach that has been a little bit of an issue is South Harbor. So there will be signage posted on that beach as well sometime in the near future.
Good. All right. Thanks, folks. Yep. So Tanya alluded to that. The way our department is set up is there's different programs. So there'll be a parks program, the fire program that's run out of Shuby, the wildlife program that's run out of Kentville, And the local regional offices here, we're kind of the boots on the ground to get the stuff done. So sometimes it might take a little while for us to get back to you on something if you have a question on something specific, because if it has to do with parks, we go to Parks Division and we ask their input on it. And then we look for direction from them, and then they come back and tell us what the best direction on that is to do. And we carry it out. That's how the department's set up. And so we just touched on our major ones that we deal with today. So if there's any questions out there, we're here. It's good to, I thought this meeting would be good to get some faces and names put together, because I know some counselors have been in touch with the techs that are here in the office and myself, and we never did get a chance to meet in person, but this is the next best thing. So you guys have any questions for us?
Yeah, I'm sure we do. And I think it's just because of the way the technology is, and I can't see everybody. So if it's okay with you folks, we'll probably just go district to district. And then that way, if you just have a couple of quick questions, and we don't want to keep you here longer than necessary, so I could remind the counselors, whatever your priority, or 2, not 6 or 7. So that and the ones that we can't deal with, we will put on a list and forward to you if that is required. So I think if that works with you, and I'm not sure who the questions are, but we'll go from districts 1 to 8, and then we'll do district 3, and then you can Morley decide who is going to field the question, because clearly it's your department and you know whose responsibilities it will be. So we'll start with district 1 in Iona, and if you would just let the staff know, just they may know your name but may not know your district. So if you just give yourself a brief introduction of your district and who you are. So we'll start with Councillor McNeil.
Okay, thank you, Warden. It's Paul McNeil, District 1, Iona, Washabuk, McKinnon Harbour, all the ways to Wagmacook, to the Red Burn area. There's a couple of questions. The first one is related to the beavers along the road area. Do you guys have your own trappers that take care of those? Or how do we go about? Do we get in touch with TIR first, or go directly to you guys?
Yes, no, that's a good question, and there's major issues going on with beavers these days. But yes, the best way to do that, especially with TIR right-of-ways or any public road access, is to contact your TIR manager, and then of course they will assess to see what kind of damage is being done. And depending on the time of year, they will come to us, and we would take a look ourselves, and between us and TIR, if it's manageable and in a timely manner, we can do it. But most times we actually hire an NWO, a nuisance wildlife operator, and they usually come in and trap and deal with the beaver dam and whatnot. But they're usually with TIR. They kind of work together on that.
Okay, thank you. One other question. I'm on a few committees with the First Nations, and my understanding is that there is a proposed, I don't know whether this is to Morley or Jennifer, a proposed provincial park area in the Washabuk area. But I found out about it through a committee I'm on, that the First Nations were asked to, if there was a name that they would want to put on the park. But it would have been nice if the municipality was brought up to speed on that too. So.
Okay, yeah, we did get some correspondence. Again, it came from the Parks Division, that there's some land over there that's already designated potential park. And they were looking at having the Mi'kmaq involved in naming that portion. I really don't know where it sits right now. I can get back to you on that, Paul. I can get an update for you. I really don't know where it sits.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you.
Yep. Can you do anything to add on that? No.
That's it.
Thank you, Councillor McNeil. We'll move to District 2 and Councillor McLeod.
Thank you. Thank you. I have a question. Is District 2 is Bedek Inlet, Big Bedek, and Mirror River. The specific of this meeting I would like to talk about is Ishkevan Falls. So do you have any update about Ishkawan Falls and where it's going after in
Yeah.
this season?
Sure, yep. And just gonna step in there for a second.
Hi, Perla. So
Hi, Chrissy, how are
Ishkawan
you?
Falls, our main objective for this year is we're gonna maintain, or we're gonna update the trail from the parking lot to the falls is the main objective, to get that main trail in good condition, that's safe and, you know, better surface and safe. So we have the green light from our Parks Division to hire a contractor again this season to keep progressing with the work on the trail. You're probably aware that work did get started, but it's not finished. So we got the green light to get the contractor back into the park, and we're going to keep going on that main trail to the falls. And
Okay, yeah.
work will probably start here mid-June, mid to late June. We're just waiting for it to dry up a bit before we get in there with the machines again.
The issue ban, it keeps changing. So it's the trail right beside Rapid Water. And so we started on that main trail and we had every intention of going over to the river trail. And then the main trail started to wash out through the winter and some spring floods. So we had to regroup and go back and work on that main trail again. And so our focus is being on, since the falls are really the experience for that park and that trail, that we really want to make a good trail in from the parking lot into the falls. We have not given up on doing the river trail on the other side yet. It's still in the works, but our main focus right now is to get to the falls and do it safely. We've also added some more signage to Ishkaban too. And we're going to continue work with our Parks Division on messaging there. I don't know, Kane, we put some more signs out this winter, but I think we'll be looking at, and we don't want to sign the place to death either, right? So we want to do it in a, to make it look pleasing. So we're working with Parks Division and our engineers on figuring that out.
Okay, yeah, I was there the other day, and there's a great trail. I see how you widen it, and it's better now. And yeah, my question was about the Bridge River. The resident, they're asking about when with that phase will start. So you answered the question. First, we're going to focus on the main trail. And the signage, yeah, I see a few of them. It's just a suggestion because we have some in the winter time an accident there. So you can pass there to parks. I don't know if they couldn't by winter time because the snow go up. You know, they will not see where is the water. So some indicators that where they can, you know, walk around. That, or I don't know, like ribbons in the trees to just make sure they know where is more information about where is the water, and that way they can just no matter what is snow, they can just pass from there, just for precaution. And and the signage, yeah, it's a little. I noticed too many, but maybe a little more informative in the entrance when you know the precautions they have to take, and that way they can be aware because some of coming from everywhere, so they don't know if these accidents happen. So it's just be preventive. That is one of my concerns.
Yep. Yeah, we'll work with our engineers in the Park Division to figure out the best layout for those signs, but it's something we're committed to.
Yeah, okay. And okay, so in this year, if I understand, you're only going to focus in the main trail, and eventually you will go to the phase to the bridge?
Correct.
Because
yeah.
you have two bridges there. They're not allowed to go.
Right, and yes, that's correct. I see there might be a situation where maybe only put one bridge across and make it a loop on the other side. I've seen the plans for that. But there would definitely be at least one bridge crossing, yes.
Yeah, and Perla, you may see us in there doing a little bit of work on that trail, just like clearing fallen trees or brushing, just so we can keep the trail in good condition. Like,
yeah, a lot of trees came to in the water, so that was another comment there. You will clean that instead the wood go, so the trees don't go in the stream.
Yeah, there's a lot of cutting there. And we have some
Yeah,
training
yeah.
courses coming up to get more staff out there to cut and stuff. So yeah, that's on the to-do list.
Perfect. And I just when I was there, in the entrance in the park, the gravel is some puddles. So I don't know, is with you or we just have to tell TR about that? If I'll just report it to them or to you guys?
On the
Parking lot has
road,
some puddles
the road on the
gravel.
way in, Rob?
Yeah, the inside the park. Yeah.
Oh, inside the park, that would be us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just gravelled it,
Yeah.
I guess, 2 years ago, but yeah, we'll have a look.
Now with the social distancing, a lot of people will come to do the hike. So it's going to be a busy spot too. So
Mhm.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, you're welcome.
That's it.
Thank you, Councillor McLeod. We're going to go to district number 4. Councillor McGuinness, are you with us?
I'm here, my phone.
You have
Yes,
any questions?
hi, how you doing? Yes, yeah, I'm just describing District 4, goes basically from the top of Smoky, around the Harbour, North River, Englishtown area, at the top of Kelly's Mountain to the Bell Museum in Bedak, including Bedak Bay. The concern I have, just wondering, talking about the fire season in place, and I guess I'm aging myself here, and probably a lot of you people might not remember this, but 52 years ago this week, we had probably one of the largest fires in the history of our island here in Wreck Cove. And I'm just wondering what access do we have in today's world with water bombers and helicopters for fighting fires? Where are they located, and how many are there on the island to access in the case of a fire?
Yeah, so when we have our own fire crews here, and we're in constant contact with the VFDs through the volunteer fire departments. When the indices indicate very high or extreme, the helicopter comes to Bedak in a station here, and the pilot stays in a hotel. We put them up here. So in extreme conditions, the chopper is here. He was here last week. So we have that available to us. The department has 4 helicopters that are equipped to fight fire and to move fire crews around, and that's something we constantly train on. So we have the resources of Shubenacadie. Once we get the helicopter there and assess that, they have the ability to send up a mobile command center, and usually the vehicles that we would need to fight that fire would come from Shubie. So we would just request it once we have a good look at it.
And I'm assuming there's an inventory done of the particular areas and lakes and ponds that are available to get water, are they? Is there?
Yep. Yes, we would. Yep.
Okay. That's it. Great. Thank you.
Jonathan, do you have anything to add to that? Or, sorry, Tanya, anything to add to that?
Yeah, and if I could just add, Tanya, if I could just add, if we need more resources that the Fire Control Center can request from Ed Province, we're part of something called Compact. So we have access to other provincial resources as well.
Yeah, and the resources, I know in that department compared to 50 years ago, there was a lot of DNR personnel there. I remember personally being there, and there was a lot of resources of DNR individuals in them times, and there's quite a reduction in today's world. Of course, there's better technology as well, though.
Yeah.
But it's quite a shift in the amount of manpower.
Yeah, but you will see if we get dry conditions and you drive by our depot here in Bedak, you'll see the helicopter parked there.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. We're going to go to District 5. Councillor Patterson.
Thank you. Yes, it's Fraser Patterson from Bulladry, District 5, the other side of Kelly's Mountain. Just 2 things. Like Councillor McLeod, I've received some concerns expressed about the Ishkaban Trail, Ishkaban Falls Trail 2, which leads me to believe that it's widely used, I think, and people really enjoy it. So I just kind of throw my 2 cents in that way. Could I just go back to Jennifer, because I wasn't quite clear. The original fire ban was till today, right? June 1st, that the province put out?
Yeah.
So Jennifer, has that been extended? Is that what you're saying? I didn't quite.
It's
Hi,
Tanya.
that would be me.
Hi.
So the fire ban is till midnight tonight.
Yes, okay, it is June 1st then.
June
So what
1st.
happens tomorrow then?
So tomorrow, we're gonna start issuing industrial burning permits if you need one of those. But for domestic burning, so burning in your backyard, that can start, but you have to follow the burn safe rules that are on our website. So at 2 o'clock each day, you go on our department website and you look to see if you can burn.
Okay,
So it's
yeah,
called-
because a lot of people are coming to their summer cabins and so on, and, you know, part of the joy of being in the country in the summer is out around a campfire. So, as you say, if you check on the website, it'll give you what you have to follow to be in compliance.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So if it's green, you can burn after 2 p.m. If it's yellow, you burn after 7. And if it's red.
Oh,
it's
okay,
a
so
no
based
burn.
on times.
Yeah,
Okay,
if
Yeah.
it's red, there's no burning whatsoever.
thank you. You mentioned a bit about wildlife earlier too. I think it was Morley. I live in Ross Ferry, and when I first came here, it was not uncommon to see deer in the backyard, around an apple tree or whatever, you know. I haven't seen a deer in I don't know how long. So do you have micro populations that you measure, or do you have a broader area?
Jonathan, you want to answer that?
Yep. We do have micro populations. We actually survey in winter. They're called deer wintering areas. That's when most deer herd up, so we can get a more accurate count of actually a population within a certain area. But we do complete PGIs, they're called pellet group inventory surveys yearly. These are 1 kilometer transects we got placed all over Nova Scotia. We have 23 in Victoria County that is done annually before green up. So we have about another 2 weeks, June 15th, before they're done. And like I said, it's a kilometer long transect that we're counting scat piles, and we're looking for any other sign of deer, moose, coyote, or bear. And based on these surveys, to go back to our wildlife division in Kentville, and that determines greatly on numbers and health and actually distribution of the deer. And they're actually pretty concerned in the Victoria County here, just with the moose population and how they don't quite get along with the deer, with the brainworm. In the last number of years, we're having a lot of parasites within our moose. And we're seeing a higher number of deer, I guess, moving more north in the last five years, more so than like say 10 years ago. So they are concerned because like the brainworms pass through the deer into the moose. So we want to be concerned of why are the deer moving back north. But yes, we do survey our deer wintering areas in the winter when they are herded up.
So it wouldn't be incorrect to say then that the population has declined in the last 5, 10, 15 years or whatever?
I wouldn't necessarily say that, but some areas have declined where other
Yeah,
areas.
that's I guess what I'm getting at is my local areas when I'm not seeing anymore. That doesn't
Yes.
mean the whole county is down for sure. Yeah.
No.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Your Councillor, District number 6.
Yes, thank you, Warden. District 6, Larry Daphne would be the Ingonish Beach and part of North Ingonish also out to Smoky. Morley, first of all, I just want to say thank you for your quick response. Anytime I've texted you or called you, you've been very good at getting back to me, and I do appreciate that. First question, I guess, is for Tanya in regards to the fire ban. You said the ban was on, and I know originally it was on to June 1st, but yesterday when I checked the site, or maybe I got it off of Facebook, which maybe I should have checked the site, it was showing that it was green and that you could have fires. Am I wrong in saying that there was able to have fires yesterday?
That was just for campfires, yes. So any open burning, so brush burning, no, you could not burn yesterday. I was one of the people that was waiting to burn my brush. So no, it was just for fires and chimeneas.
Okay, perfect. And I guess the other question, there's a little bit of confusion around when the area is green and you can have fires. There's also another part to that. I think you have to be 1,000 feet away from a woodland. Is that still in effect when the area is green, or is that always in effect that it has to be 1,000 feet away? Because most people burning debris are not 1,000 feet away.
Yeah, that's part of the ban. Like if you're greater than 1,000 feet, then we have no jurisdiction over those fires.
Oh, okay.
So our act falls within any fire within 1,000 feet.
I understand. Okay, no, that's great. My second question is, Jonathan, we were kind of playing telephone tag there the past week. I had moved residences, my phone number had changed, but I know you've been in the area with the bears here in Ingonish. I just wonder if you have any update, if you had any success with the traps or any more reports in the last couple of days.
I had no success with the trap. Well, the bear tripped it the first night when I had it just across from the post office and liquor store there on Kelly's Lane. There was lots of complaints in and around Ingonish Beach. I never got to see a bear. I was up patrolling a couple times. I had some bangers and some mace and even some rubber slugs just to try to push them out of the area. But no, we weren't successful trapping the bear. And then last week, it seemed like the bears moved towards Ingonish Center, and I was dealing with Park Canada too, because they obviously have a chunk of park right in between the Ingonish Center and Ingonish Beach. They're having issues in the park. It was kind of their fault there. They didn't get their bear-proof garbage containers out in time just because of the virus and the pandemic. A lot of their staff weren't back on, so they didn't have staffing to switch out the garbage containers. So sure enough, the bear found them and seemed like hit all of them on the way through from Ingonish Beach into the Ingonish Center. So I relocated the trap there last Friday up to around the bean barn because a lot of the complaints were coming in that area. So I talked to the bean barn and in the hotel next to it, and they actually got a bear-proof container delivered there Friday. But since Friday, there was no complaints over the weekend, and I have Parks Canada kind of on my side there. They're kind of looking in around the area, and they're ready and willing any time that an issue comes up that they can be on our side to actually help. So.
No, that's perfect. Okay, good. Maybe decide to head back for the woods, I guess. Let's keep our fingers crossed. But thanks very much, everyone, for your response. It's greatly appreciated.
Let's hope they go.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you, Deputy Warden. Councillor Budge, any questions or comments, please?
Yes, Wayne Budge, District 7, Neils Harbor to Iffisbrook and to the Anglican Church in North Bay. And my question is, it's a lack of enforcement officers for the fishing. I haven't seen any. I don't know if I go to the Highlands or to Bedore Lakes, I see them every day. But I've fished north of Smoky here for 50-some years, and I was checked once. So I was just wondering, is there a schedule for your enforcement officers to come north, or are you just giving up on us?
I can answer that, Wayne. A few years ago, and I can't tell you how long, the enforcement part was taken out of Lands and Forestry, or DNR, and turned over to Department of Environment. So conservation officers are answer to the Department of Environment. We don't know, we're not privy to their schedules, and even if we were to ask them, they wouldn't tell us. So we pass on concerns that we get from council or from the general public. We just pass them on to environment.
Well, if you just pass that on, it would be nice to see an officer once in a while. It keeps people honest.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
A lot of them are border patrol ferries right now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just as Jonathan just said, a lot of them right now in the spring have been patrolling the ferry for Victoria County during COVID. They've been doing the borders, the conservation officers have been. But I will certainly, Wayne, pass that on.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Budge. We'll go top of the island, District 8, please. Councillor McDonald.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Warden. Good evening, morning, staff. It's nice to finally put a face and names to your people there. District 8 starts at Effie's Brook and commences through to Cape North Dingwall, onward to Bay St. Lawrence up to the Capstick line, and also home to the world famous landing of John Cabot in District 8 in the beautiful provincial park at Cabot's Landing. I just had to get that in there. I think the only questions I have for you this evening is in regard to the stairway that goes down onto the beach access from the Cabot Landing Park. It seemed like last year that the stairs went down, but we never got the second part in. And I actually go over there quite often myself. And I was over there the day before yesterday, and just maybe 10 feet to the left, you can almost walk down from the land to the beach itself. And I know that it does change there with erosion factors and that. Is there any chance that we might get that second section on this year? Because I'm thinking that park is going to be widely used this summer.
Yeah, okay. So Tanya and I made a visit there last week, so we know the exact spot you're talking about. The long-term solution for there would be a ramp built into the ground so that there'd be no wooden structures there at all, because every time we put one in, a storm comes along, takes it out. So we're always constantly adjusting, trying to get access to that beach. We had Parks Division down there about 3 years ago and to come up with a design for that. It's not unique to your park. Any parks that we have against the ocean now is facing lots of issues with fall storms and damage there. So we're coming up with a solution. I think we'll do the best we can to patch that stairway this year. But the long-term solution there we're working on, and that's going to be something that we just make right into the bank, into the dunes, whether we rock it or make it some kind of solid ramp going down there and use the natural contour of the land instead of trying to put wooden structures.
Great, thank you. And I know, so I was over the other evening, there's some signage that seems, I don't know if it appears to be uprooted or if it was something that knocked it down. Is your staff working on implementing or replacing that signage, or?
Yes, Norman, that's on our to-do list.
Yeah. And lastly, kind of a big concern is here in the district is going to be use of public washrooms. We had intended to have public access washrooms throughout Victoria County this year, but in Cape North, that project is delayed a little bit, and parks bathrooms will be used widely. Has there been any measures, or will there be any measures put in place, like with hand sanitizers in those outdoor washroom facilities within your park? Because that Cabot Landing Park bathroom is the only one within my district.
Yeah, so I'm meeting with the caretaker tomorrow, actually. And we're going to work on opening those washrooms, and we do have hand sanitizer dispensers in those outhouses right now.
Right. Will there be any other measures regarding with COVID and through your department?
We have signage that we're going to put on the doors just to alert the public that they aren't cleaned on a regular basis. We're gonna, the signage is gonna basically say, you know, it's cleaned once, twice a daily, or the days that they will actually be cleaned. Because the caretakers aren't full-time to each park. They work a set number of hours. It could be anywhere from 20 to 35 hours a week they get paid. So they're not full-time staff, so they're in and out of the park. So yeah, we'll have signage just so when public come, they know that they're using a facility that's not cleaned regularly.
Great, thank you. And I'd just like to say lastly, thank you for your work with North Harbour and signage. It was great to see that implemented, and commend your staff for always getting back and helping with issues throughout the district. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor McLeod. Do you have one last question? Or
Yeah, I forget, sorry. Do you have any update about the bears around the transfer in Big Bedeck? With this, there was some sighting about this. Cubs was last year, but now no Cubs anymore. So the people was just wonder either back to the.
Yeah, no, we actually had a few calls on that just from the workers, and this was probably a little over 2 weeks ago now. The landfill was only, minimal staff at the time because of the virus and the pandemic, but I was out. I couldn't get a glimpse of them myself, but the workers reported, yes, a mother with 2 cubs In the last week, I never heard much of it. I was hoping that Mama and the two cubs would pick up and move deeper in the woods, not towards town or the landfill. So let's hope that's what happened, but there was no other reports in the last week or so of Mom and two cubs.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Robert.
Thank you very much. CAO, any questions before we?
I just have one question. I'm wondering what your thoughts are on what this fire season is going to look like. Any predictions on if will be a good year or a bad year?
Not that I'm aware. Good to see the rain today. I don't know if it was raining in all parts of the county, but we're pretty pleased to see it. I hope last week wasn't our summer.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for some warm weather this year, but we're past that point of green up. Things are starting to green up fairly fast. It's really dangerous when we got some the dry fuels on the ground and everything still hasn't greened up yet. So we're glad to see that happen. But as far as guessing what kind of fire season we're going to have, no.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And just to wrap up, Badek Village up to the Irving Station exit is my district. And I just had a question in the comment. We have a lot of foxes in the village right now, or are we just seeing the same fox going around? He's very active. So I don't know if it's one or many. Would you care to comment, or have you been successful trying to trap some of it? Because I do know some of the people are feeding them, but any comments, please?
Bruce, did you report that? Or Jonathan, do you know about that?
Yeah, I know about a few of the fox families in the town, and I'm dealing with the clients at the moment. It's a pretty unique animal. They're not as easy to remove as some people may think, but we are working with the clients, and we're trying to educate some people, as in do not feed the wildlife. And some of the issues are becoming a little too much for our staff here, so we actually contract them out to Newsom wildlife operators, and that's where their specialties come into play, especially in around towns and communities. It's very tricky, but we are well aware of the foxes around Badek, and hopefully here in the next 2 to 3 weeks, Mom will pick up and take the kids with them and head on to the woods, because right now basically our population is exceeded the area for the town of Badek. So there's a carrying capacity, and right now it's maxed out.
Very good. And just one comment, we do appreciate the assistance we've been getting from your staff in regards to the trails that we're looking at, and we appreciate that as well. They're most helpful, and we appreciate the maps and the help. And I think there was just one final question or comment. Was Councillor Cloud about ticks, or?
Do you have any report about the ticks around here, Victoria County? I don't know, you just see your department see that, or have any report about ticks?
And you want to handle that?
Yeah, so there's definitely an increase in ticks in Cape Breton. We still have the lowest in the province, but I am seeing myself more black-legged ticks. My dog had one on him last year. So people should be taking precautions, like wearing long sleeves and long pants whenever they can, and using insect repellent with DEET and things like that. I don't know whether we're ever going to get to the point where we are as inundated with them as the mainland is, because our climate's a little bit different. But yeah, there's definitely an increase, and people should take some precautions. And yeah, check themselves for ticks as well.
Well, listen, thank you very much for your time. That's we've gone through the districts, we've gone through the county, and we appreciate your time and the information you provided. It was a good conversation. We also appreciate the number of programs and responsibilities that you do have. We will probably send you a copy or a summary of our conversation tonight that is captured in the minutes. And if there's any other questions or concerns, we'll ask them to contact councillors to contact the department directly. And do you have any final comments for us before we move on to the next item on the agenda?
Yeah, just as you went through all your districts, we realize you guys know it's a big county. So it's great that you guys are so in touch with your constituents and that the information that you have and your concerns that you have flow to us that way. Because it really gets us into communities where we usually don't, we don't go that often or we don't hear a lot from. So it's great that you guys are in contact with us and continue to do so.
No, it's great, and trust me, we'll be keeping an eye on Ishkavan too. All of us are getting comments, particularly in the end of the summer.
Yep. Yeah, Parks Division are well aware. Yep.
Yeah. Very good. All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Night.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to move on to our next item on the agenda is the minutes from our May 19th, 2020 council meeting. Those minutes were circulated to you a couple of weeks ago. You had a chance to review them. Are there any errors or omissions in those minutes?
Yes, Warden, there's one correction. On page 5, paragraph 3, and the first sentence there should read, Councillor McNeil provided an update on broadband and indicated the update that Develop Nova Scotia provided on the second phase projects does not include any Victoria County projects as of yet. We did receive a project on the first phase, and that was just an update on the second phase. So hopefully we will receive projects on the second phase too. I just want to make that clear. I'll send that to Heather. Thank you, Heather. I apologize for the mix-up.
Okay, so it was information you provided rather than, okay, I understand.
Exactly.
Are there any other, thank you, Councilor McNeil, any other errors or omissions? Corrections recommended. If not, we have a motion to accept those minutes as circulated with the noted change.
So moved.
Moved by the Deputy Warden, seconded by
Fairland.
Councilor McLeod. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very minded. Motion is carried. Thank you very much. We're going to move on now to old business. So is there any old business from previous meetings or from that meeting?
I just have a couple of things. Just to let you know that IntelliVote was the successful HRM e-voting candidate. And so I've contacted them and requested pricing related to e-voting. I think you have all received a copy of the draft of the e-voting bylaw. So we might want to discuss in a little bit related to what you would hope the process would look like for voting day, if you want to go all electronic or all paper or hybrid. I sat in on a session for e-voting in the past week, and people that use e-voting, areas that have more senior residents, say that it goes really well. The voting number doesn't usually go down related to e-voting. It may actually go up, but it's something to think about, the way that you might like to do it, if it's all one or all the other or a hybrid of it, keeping in mind COVID restrictions that more than likely will be in place. Also, I contacted John Bain related to the shoreline development that's happening in District 5. John's response right now was, unfortunately, there's no zoning, so no setback requirements currently in place, except for the only place where there's zoning currently is in Bedeque. He also noted, though, with coastal protection regulations coming on and minimum planning standards, there likely will be requirements. So these are things that we should keep in mind when we are helping or forming those regulations as well. And then I just wanted to note in Wayne's area where he mentioned there was a set of stairs that we owned that Public Works has looked at those and will be working on fixing that entranceway as soon as contractors are available to get in there and get work done. So that's what I have.
Thank you very much. Yes, Councillor Patterson.
Thank you. Leanne, with coastal protection, is there anything we can put in place, or would it have to go through the planning commission?
I think coastal protection is happening through the planning commission, but also we should be able to help with things that we know about or things that we want. I think some of the regulations may just come down from the province also, saying how far back you have to set things.
Yes.
But just currently, there's none of those that are in place. So
could we explore the possibilities of what we might be able to do, or
yep,
start the process of just looking into it anyway?
yeah, and I think that there is, John Bain is forming a committee for putting at least minimum planning standards in place in all areas, and may as well roll in minimum planning standards with coastal protection areas as well and do it at the same time. So it is a project that's happening. It's just with the province sort of running it, don't know how long it's going to take for them to pass down. I think there's regulations that aren't even passed yet, or rules or guidelines on it. So, but they will all come together. Yes.
Because I think, Warden, you and I received that email from the gentleman, and I think he had two main concerns: shoreline erosion, building so close to the shoreline. But I think the second concern is, and one we should maybe look at, is the protection of the resident, the building, because I mean, if it's built too close to the shoreline and it's unstable, it could become a houseboat for you down the Medora Lake. So, I just want to kind of keep it on the burner, I guess, Leanne, just that we don't kind of forget about it, because I think
and all across Nova Scotia, we're blessed with coastlines, but our coastlines are slowly disappearing. So yeah, it's becoming more and more important. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
So thank you, Councillor Patterson. Deputy Warden, did you have a question or a comment?
Just a question for Leanne, the CAO. When you said that IntelliVote was the one, I guess, in HRM stuff, would that be the same company that we used back in 2016 for? It was? Okay.
Yes.
No,
sorry. Yeah, I forgot to say that. It is the same company. And we had a really good working relationship with them. And HRM has, and I haven't seen it, but HRM has negotiated prices for themselves, but also left it open so that other areas around the province could use it.
Perfect. No, it's quite successful last time. I like the way it was handled. So no, that's good to hear. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Just wanted to make one myself, if I could. I know you checked with the Planning Commission, but you should also check, maybe we should also check with the Department of the Environment. They were responsible for residential development along any residential development that is not serviced by municipal water and sewer. So I think we contact the office in Sydney, Mark Farrell, Owen's name, and just see if they are required to do at least audits on any kind of development, potentially 1.6. So I think, kind of going back to what Councillor Patterson said, any of us that have areas along the lake, perhaps we should be requesting that the audits be done on any waterfront development that is being done, rather than just 1 and 6 at random. So anyway, maybe we just follow up along those lines and see if we can information.
Mark Farrell, you said?
Mark Farrell, Farrell. Is there any other old business to come forward, please? We will go to new business, and we'll turn it over to the CAO for a report and any new business she wishes to comment on.
Yeah, so today was our first day back to work related to the courthouse admin staff. Most of public works staff were also back reporting in. We are having our recycling staff coming back next week. So we are doing a phased report. I believe you all received a return to work plan that we have developed and introduced, and hoping that as the curve is flattened and gone away, that we will be open to the public and opening more of our areas. But today and at least this week, our staff are reporting and we are closed to the public at this point. But I have been having regular meetings with my department heads. Just want to give you a couple of things that are going on. Tourism area, Dan is working on looking for solutions for businesses that are resuming opening, and a lot of their concern, or one of their main concerns, is the washroom area, which we have heard about, and we're looking for solutions. I don't know if we have a whole lot, but he is investigating some different things to do, and he's also looking at ways of possibly getting some development groups together to help those businesses that are opening. And maybe they look at getting someone to go in and clean washrooms and businesses on a more regular basis. But also they're concerned with PPE for their staff in those areas. So he's looking at solutions, looking at helping to find solutions related to those. But yeah, he's planning meetings with development groups in each of the areas happening in the next couple of weeks. He had some news related to Destination Cape Breton. They have a survey that has gone out related to what businesses plan to do. It was interesting. A majority of the respondents to it were from Victoria County, and most are planning on opening. So that's good news that things are starting to look like they're turning around, or everyone is coming together. And the fact that people are from Victoria County answering these surveys and getting that information out there is great too. There's also a social media course that is going on that I talked about a couple of weeks ago. That's now in full swing, and the people that are taking it seem to be getting quite a bit out of it. And he also held a wage subsidy Zoom session with some operators around the county. The emergency wage subsidy program is out there, but some may have been finding it cumbersome or hard to use. So he arranged for a local bookkeeper to do a Zoom session on some practical ways to fill out the template. So that went over really well. We're also working on areas to look for or things we should do for washrooms. And I guess I have a question, and it was interesting that DNR talked about opening up their washrooms and parks opening up their washrooms. Guess I'm wondering what your thoughts are, because I've had a couple of questions related to the washrooms that we are putting in place. And if the business, or not the business, the not-for-profit or the organization that we are placing these washrooms at or in are not opening, what is council's thoughts on opening them up? Because the cost to run those is ultimately going to be on the county. So I guess I'm interested in discussing that, or getting your thoughts on that for areas around the county that that we do have a washroom currently. So like, for instance, in Bedak, if the visitor information center doesn't open, and I don't know if they are planning on it or not, are we interested in opening the washroom in that area? So I would welcome your thoughts related to that.
Does anybody wish to enter into that conversation, offer some advice, direction?
Yeah, Deputy Warden Daphne here. I think we have the facilities. I think we've got to take a leading role here and maybe open them up and show, I guess, putting our foot forward and trying to see how we deal with it. But definitely looking at the social distancing and whatever measures we can put in place. And I know there will be a cost, but I think we have some responsibility to the public, and let's be a little bit more proactive and get things rolling. And it's definitely going to be a major thing for any tourism or anything that's going to happen this year. And I think we got to support the businesses that are out there. So I'm in favor of doing it, or whatever we need to do to get those washrooms open.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else want to weigh in on?
I just wonder what the status of the one at the Gaelic College. When is it hoping to be ready?
So I haven't checked on it lately. I haven't checked in with Rodney on it, but I know that it's being built off-site and then going to be delivered there. So I will have more information on that next council, Miro.
Okay. And has there been any location identified on the North Shore, for example? Is there any?
No, so that's in my report here as well. We have a couple of, well, we've approached several different areas or businesses, organizations in that area, and a lot of them seemed really interested at first. And then there seems to be just like that one factor for why they can't do it. So as of today, we've put out an expression of interest in that area to see if we can give everyone the same chance to put their bid in on it for getting a washroom at their area. So it's going to be open for about a month. And hopefully we will have someone who has the space and the capacity, and we can start one in that area. So unfortunately, no. But I'm just getting a note here that the walls are up and the roof is on at the Gaelic College one.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
And for the permanent ones we're talking about, is there any still interest in the North Shore, the old North Shore school location?
It's still a location. It's still a thought for sure. And I know that you say that that's a great location, and it is. Only issue that I kind of feel could possibly be an issue is that it's there by itself, and there's no one that's monitoring it, and there's no one, like there would be nobody physically at that location to check the toilet supplies, check how clean it is, stuff like that. So that's my only issue with going with that location, because I mean that's our location, right?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor McLeod, question.
No, yes, I with Deputy Warren about open bathrooms. Maybe we can, I don't know, in the position, maybe some local around, you know, I don't know, somebody can.
You're cutting out a little.
Just like a contract.
Yeah, I mean,
contract side instead of, you know, the stuff of the well, whatever goes, no, municipality or tender that contract and somebody can take over.
Yeah,
maybe that bathroom and then know some different. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we're thinking about too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments? Councillor McDonald.
Yes, I'd just like to add that in conversation with the Bay St. Lawrence Community Centre, that project is coming along quite well, and I shouldn't assume, but pretty close to being completed. And I was in touch with the coordinator yesterday, and she spoke, and there's a specific list that they're going to be using to implement for tourism and people coming and using their facilities. And that's through Department of Health and Wellness. And also the washroom in Cape North, they're planning on bringing the contractors in on site today for appraisal. So hoping to get that up and started for this area.
Right, yeah, and I was in contact with Dr. Murray over the weekend, and he was talking about the same thing, yes. Great. So that one is a go, and they were concerned with even just having the contractors in there if we were okay with that, and we're okay with that as long as they're okay with it. But for the two that are currently up and running, and I mean Bay St. Lawrence and Bedeque, as long as everyone is okay with, if those operations don't open, but we find a way to get the washrooms opened, as long as everyone's good with that. And I think we have to be. Okay.
So, yeah, it seems to be a common thread around, right? I guess maybe we'll just get an update from you at next council and see
Yep.
where this.
Yep.
So just to clarify, just so that there's,
Yeah, my common theme seems to be toilets and washrooms, so.
well, so if,
Constantly on the agenda. But that's how important it is, and it has been for years.
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
So, sorry, keep going.
no, but just so I can understand, like, for example, it could be a commercial establishment that we will help off. Are we offering to help them or not?
So that's not what that's not what I was talking about there. So currently
Okay.
I was talking about what we do for the ones that we own.
Okay,
So the next step is Dan is talking with the development groups around the whole county. So let's say Top of the Island or English Development Society. If they are interested in maybe hiring somebody to go around to the different businesses that are opening to do sanitation or cleaning of the washrooms, then maybe that's where we step in. Maybe that's where we step in, where we can give a grant to help them with that, maybe, right? So that's not off the table, but they'd have to go through the grant process for that. So
yes.
Dan is going to be in meetings with them related to those things and see if they can come up with some good solutions.
Right. And I think it's just in light of the fact there could be a second wave, and you know, we can be prepared for the second wave that comes. And if it's washrooms is one of the themes that keeps coming back, that the expectation is that we assist somehow. If there's a role there for us, I think we should definitely look at it. So.
Right, and also the fact that our washrooms aren't as far ahead as we thought they would be at this time, like for whatever roadblocks we've run into with the ones that we're physically building. I think that means that we knew they were an issue, and if they're not there now, then we have to find a solution, or we have to help with a solution around it. Okay, so also Public Works has opened up again as of today. It had more staff in reporting, except for the recycling areas, which are next week. And they know about the shell smell. They have several complaints already. Kelly has been down to monitor it. I think the day that there was the smell, like the overwhelming smell, which there is, it's a day of low cloud and a wind a certain way. Sometimes, no matter how many wood chips you put in there, it's not going to get rid of it. But we know we have to come up with a solution. There's got to be something related to it. So yes.
It's just about now we have the stream in Facebook and YouTube. Maybe we can extend and ask a question if any of the residents have an idea or talking about or some experience in this, or hear or read something. Maybe they can give us a call, and if they have any information how we can fix this problem, because we have this for a couple of years now and we end. So it will be a great, it may, you know, it's a suggestion.
We lost you a bit there at the end, Perla.
No, it's a suggestion. If the community, you know what I mean, anybody's thing that we can help us with the smell. And
I agree. Yep, that's a great point. Yep. Couple of other things. NSFM has requested that that all municipalities fill out a lost revenue survey. Our loss of revenue is not as great as other areas. There's some other municipalities that have rentals or civic center fees or building rents and permits, and I mean, we have district planning permits, but ours is not as severe a loss as some others. But the survey has been completed and sent in. We also are going to be taking over gardening ourselves this year, doing it in-house, which means gardening at the courthouse, but also we're looking at doing some gardening or prettying up the other locations as well. So you could see our public works guys and girls out there planting some pretty flowers at the transfer station and at the recycling depots. So just to let you know about that. And then I had that note related to the expression of interest on washrooms in North Shore going out. So just to let you know, last week's council had 35 live viewers, and I've received a note that says that currently there's 38 viewers on our Facebook at the moment. So we've peaked right now, or we're gathering steam as we're going along.
We're up 10%.
Up 10%, exactly. Yeah, so that's what I have as a report.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Any questions? Councillor McNeil, sorry.
yeah, Mr. Warden, there was one item I'd like to bring up in new business. A local resident was looking to put a water, get connected to water, and he disagreed with the $1,000 fee that we were charging him. So he called URB, and I guess there was a misunderstanding on the county's part for the approved rates, that if there's lines already existing in the ground, that fee shouldn't be charged. So maybe Leanne could fill us in a little bit further on what's going to happen with residents that had connections and
Right.
prior
Yeah.
connections.
Yeah, and Paul, you've been talking about that one for a long time now. So this resident was very keen and took it to the UARB. So our understanding of it at the last UARB hearing was that the wording had that if you're having water connected with pipes, that you will be charged the connection fee. Now UARB came back and said that's not exactly how it is worded or written. So based on the wording that's there, if there's no current groundwork that has to be done to lay those pipes, then the $1,000 connection fee should not be happening. So I think that it mostly affects areas in Ingonish and in Little Narrows. So we're okay admitting that we interpreted it wrong. That resident right now is not being charged the connection fee. And I've asked the staff to go back and find any that are in those areas that had the pipes there already. And if we charge them the connection fee, we will be refunding it.
Thank you, Leanne.
Good work, Counselor. You're like a dog with a bone with that one.
Oh, well, good work to the resident too. Thank you.
Yes, yep.
Good to hear.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Just a question I have, or
Yeah.
just a question. Councillor McGuinness here.
Yep, go ahead, sir.
Yes, I'm just wondering about getting back to this crab issue. The amount of crab that's been processed in Neils Harbor is only a fraction of what's been done in Lewisburg, for example, or even
Yep.
Glace Bay.
Yep.
And I'm just wondering if they could be contacted and asked how they deal with their. I know at one time, a number of years ago, they used to haul it to the Highlands, and I'm almost sure that's not happening anymore. But they must have some way of putting it somewhere, because, like I say, what's processed there is 10 times what's done in Neils Harbor.
Yep.
There's at least 3 processing plants over there that are.
So the
doing-
two things that I know about there, Merrill, are
Mhm.
some of them are hauled to the dump at the CBRM.
So how do they deal with it?
Well, they charge them a higher tipping fee. And they
Okay,
have,
but how do
and they have better processes there to look after it. Like ours is not set up to process or to compost these shells. I mean, we're doing a makeshift job of it because it costs a lot of money to set up the system that we need to have in place. Another thing that happens over at those processing plants is that I know for certain that there is a portable shell crusher that comes in and crushes them up and takes the shells and uses them as fertilizer. And I know that that's happening. And I've asked for that to happen, to come to our area, but the cost to haul that up to us is more than what they would be making on it, on the product. So the geography of it and the size of the county and it being at the top of the county is part of the reason why it just wouldn't, it's not feasible for that.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So
thank you.
again, I mean, it costs a lot of money to process this, to get rid of the smell. But I think that they're doing better than they have been, and it's being monitored more closely. But some days there's just, it's the way the wind blows and the clouds and the science around it. And
Oh, I can well imagine. I know exactly what they're dealing with here.
yeah,
It'd be dreadful.
it must be awful. Yeah.
Nasty.
Yeah.
Any
Okay,
other-
thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McGinnis. Any other new business?
No.
We're good? All right, we're going to move on to, can we have the taxation update, please?
Yep. Okay, so as of today, we are sitting at 1.013 million outstanding. So we're inching closer and closer to the 1 million mark. We have 573,000 in current, outstanding in current, and 441,000 outstanding in arrears. This is compared to 1.116 million outstanding at this time last year. So we are 103,000 better than we were at this time last year. However, we're monitoring it, and as the weeks go by, our gap that we had there at one time is closing in, and part of it is what we feel, part of it is COVID related. And another part is that we were shorter on staff there as well. But COVID is we are starting to feel it in our collections. So there's been, since last council, there's been 30,000 collected, which is still good. However, last year at this time, there was 68,000 collected during the same 2-week period. So it's probably COVID related.
Any questions about the taxation report? Any interest, any pickup on the tax assistance program?
Haven't heard a lot of questions on it yet, but I would imagine when we pass the policy and get information out related to it, that there will be some that will be interested in it. I mean, it's a good program at a low rate to help people over this hump. So.
Exactly. I guess if we move into the end of June, we'll start to see when reality of taxes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, very good. No other
Just a
questions?
question.
Yes, sir.
Tax sales scheduled for not this summer, or will it be fall, or any tax?
There are dates that are set. I'm not 100% sure on the date, but I'm sure one of the attendees will be letting me know. Give me a second, Marilyn, I'll get back to you with that. Because Alex has the dates and I don't know if she has access to speak or not. Something tells me July. I think we're talking the end of July. Yeah, they have the dates. Yeah, July.
All right, thank you very much.
Can I
Thank
talk
you.
now?
Yeah, yeah, Alex is in there.
That was impressive. I just got this notice that I could start talking. I don't actually have the exact date. It was scheduled for July. My concern with saying that now is that we probably haven't got the notices out in enough time yet.
Yep.
So I'm not sure if we'll be able to stick to that date since we're all just back in the office as of now, and we want to get the tax bills out this month. So we might start having conflicting priorities. But also we're going to have to look at how we're going to be able to do tax sales. Because
Yeah,
if we're
right.
limited to
Yeah,
a
of
certain
course,
number
yeah.
of people in that room, I'm not sure how we'll do that. And other places have postponed them, I think, until the fall. I don't think I've heard of any coming up. So
Okay.
that's not really an answer at
Okay.
all. It's a non-answer.
Oh, well, that's just some clarity, Thank you.
But in the non-COVID world, Meryl, each date is set now. And I
Yes,
think
yeah.
there's 3 times a year. But COVID may come into play there as well.
Of course, yeah. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the taxation update. We're going to move now on to the Department of Transportation Infrastructure renewal updates. We'll start with District 8. Any TIR issues this evening, sir?
Thank you, Warden. Yes, just a couple here looking at my notes. Over in Mill Hill, which is located in Bay St. Lawrence, there's a culvert there that needs replacement. There was one there, but I guess has since collapsed since quite a while. And it's backing up into the resident's driveway. And there's some ditching that's required along that stretch of roadway there. And it seems to be flooding and causing a little bit of havoc there. At civic address 3286 Bay St. Lawrence Road. That's 3286 Bay St. Lawrence Road. If we could have that put on the TIR list, please, to have a look at that.
Bill?
Secondly, Old Loop Road, which is at the beginning of my district there. Shoulder and grading is required. Local residents call. There's a business that's located on that stretch of roadway there. And it's quite in bad shape. I took a drive over there myself. They're leaving for last, and it needs to be graded, and there has to be something done with the shoulder that comes up, turning onto the road to go into South Harbor. So I know the grader is in the area, I do believe, and I think they will be addressing that sooner than later. But we're going to have that put on the list too, please.
Thank you. We will.
And just 2 more. Attention required to the North Aspey Bridge on the lower end of the Cape North side. The approach, there's a hole there where the board come off the bridge, and some of the coverings have become loose and some nails are exposed. There was one resident that called me even for last and said they believed that their tire was punctured due to that nails being exposed on that bridgeway there. So if they could have a look at that, that's an ongoing issue year after year with that bridge. I really wish if there was a way that we could, wish is a big word, right? You're speaking of things like this. If there's any way that could be paved. I know they did Roper's Bridge in Ingonish, and they were saying that they could never pave wooden bridges, but that seemed to have gotten paved. I don't know, maybe because the paving company was through the area at that time of year. But if they could pave that bridge, it would eliminate a lot of trouble that's year after year with that. But for now, if they could fix the nails and the boards, it'd be great. And lastly, if I may, Warden, is Dingwall Road. There's a section in Dingwall there that it's by the water tower, by the municipal water tower there. They call it the Big Hill. The road seems to be narrow, and the pavement is going. It's going on both sides, and I calls from pedestrians who walk that hill for regular exercise, is that they're forced to take a risk when they're walking in that area when 2 vehicles are coming up and down on that hill, because there's not really any shoulder there for them to walk on. So I think that's something that should be looked at and addressed immediately if it's at all possible with TIR. And that would be my TIR concerns for this evening for District 8. Just a few.
Thank you, Councillor McDonald. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Councillor Budge, any TIR concerns in your district?
No, they did patch the Lighthouse Road in Neils Harbor. There's still some holes left, but it's a lot better than it was.
Very good.
But it still needs more work.
Okay, we'll just mention that. Deputy Warden, anything in
Yes, Gordon, a couple of things. I think Councillor McDonald answered my first question in regards to the grader. It's good to hear that it is in the area. That's probably my biggest concern right now from residents is the grading of the side roads. With this weather, it's probably going to be delayed though because of the rain, but at least it's in the area. That's a good sign. Highways have been around and have fixed the manholes that were caving in through Ingonish Beach here. So I'd like to say thank you for that. That was great work. One ongoing thing, though, it continues to be the erosion on the highway just south of the marina in Ingonish Ferry. Just wondering if we could put in a request. I know Steve is looking at the coastal erosion, that whole area, but we do need a hazard marker put in. There was one extremely bad washout that is now underneath the pavement next to the guardrail. So I'd like to request that at least a hazard marker be put in that before there's an accident. And that's good for TRR. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Warden. Councillor Patterson. There you are. You're muted.
There. No, nothing from District 5.
Thank you. District 4.
Yes, thank you. Well, sort of good news, maybe, and I have to see it before I believe it, but apparently the ferry is going to be in possibly Wednesday or Thursday of this week. It is in Englishtown. Miracles do happen. So now that the trouble is to get it hooked up. Another issue that I brought it up before about the number of dead trees that are falling in our ditches. It's just an eyesore. I mean, there are multiple hundreds of them between here and the Trans-Canada. I mean, there's a lot of extensive work done on these roads, millions of dollars spent on them, and now there's just garbage from windfalls falling into the ditches. I don't see why they couldn't hire a contractor. Obviously, their own staff can't or won't do it. They could hire Asplund or one of these contractors to go and clean it up just to make the place look a little more presentable. I know if it is in our own private driveways, we wouldn't do that, but have it removed. I'd like that request to be put in to have something done. With that, I mean, they've announced a $250 million provincial funding to help develop some employment around the highway system. So that'd be one to do it. And again, guardrail posts that have been broke last winter from the snowplow removal. Still hasn't anything. I haven't seen a TIR repair crew in this area since last year. So that's my rant for today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we're going to go to district number 2.
Yeah, I just have one. For gravel maintenance is for North Branch 420 to the park, Ishkamen Falls. And they have it like I said, just a little mini bridge there. They need to be removed and put a brand new. That's it.
That's it?
Yeah, that's only one. Yeah.
Appreciate that. Any chance there's any TIR issues in district number 1?
Oh, maybe just one or two. A couple of ongoing issues. The completion of the grading throughout the district. They did start it, but there are roads that have to be completed. Also, the patching throughout Washabuk and Iona area hasn't been started yet. I'm wondering when that will start. And also the repair of the signs throughout the area. It doesn't look like any of the signs were repaired either. One issue that I'm getting quite a few phone calls, is to complete the repair of the lawn on 98 New Glen Road. They did do a little bit of cleaning up basically, but they didn't repair the lawn. It was basically a lot of sod torn up during the winter time. And also I got a couple of calls from residents about asking why only 6 cars are allowed on the ferry at once now. Do cars have to social distance through COVID? So if we could find that out.
Okay. We can find that out, I guess.
I think that was
It-
funny. I think he was being funny on that.
I don't know.
No, well, no, I guess at times they're only allowing 6 cars on the ferry at once.
There-
But
there-
funny, but not funny. Yeah, right.
No, exactly.
Okay, funny but non-humorous or whatever. Okay,
Yeah.
very good. We'll put that on the list. Thank you very much. That it? I just
That's
want
it. Thank you.
to thank you, and just for District 3, just if they take a look at ditching the ditches along the Shore Road and Bedeck, there are several culverts blocked. There are bulrushes that are blocking any waterfall, creating some pooling and ponding. And a number of those ditches, it's just past due for that type of maintenance work to be done. So we need a motion to send that list to Department of Transportation Infrastructure Renewal. Are you moving it, or are you adding to it?
Sorry, Warden, I just had one more thing. I was wondering in regard to the Gaelic signage for the area. I had no correspondence with Mr. McDonald in regard to the provincial mapping system. I was in touch with the local TIR representative. I was just trying to figure out what we can get some literature on that. Is that that was supposed to be started this spring, I thought.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
so if we could add that to the list, it's really important to get
Sure.
that project going.
100%.
Thank you.
Been on the board. Thank you. We will add that. So can we have a motion to send those that report to transportation, please?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Budge, seconded by
Second.
Councillor McGinnis. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion is carried. We're working our way through the agenda. Are there any notice of motions tonight? We will start with district concerns. Councillor McNeil, do you have any? You're muted.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Warden. Just one thing, just a recognition for the Washabook residents. They had a community cleanup last week, and each resident kind of picked a section of road, and they did a great job. Thank you.
Great, be noted in the minutes. Thank you. We're going to District 2. Anything this evening? You're muted.
Yes, I just have a, no, I'm gonna, I just have a comment and announcement. I sent email about Pride Day, Pride Month start today. So I sent the correspondence, and then have I want to show you something. There is a flag. If you read the correspondence I sent, we want this flag to deliver to the business and organizations and business if they want to put it in their business. Just like remember when the Syrian family came, we put some in the
Yes.
windows to welcome. So we want to put this in the doors and of business for make welcoming the people. So we're thinking about flag the rise flag in Thursday, June 4 or Monday, June 8. We have 2 dates, so we asking council if they want to come. Will be at 1 o'clock in the courthouse. So we started thinking June 4 or June 8. So we decide that in the future. And just let me know when you can, and we can find the date. And we start inviting council, Gay Straight Alliance groups, the county schools, and general public. So because this Pride Month, we have to have a part of the education. So a part of a Pride 2020, the municipality will purchase copies of Love Lives Here, an inspirational story of acceptance and love, written by Canadian author Amanda Heather Knox, and will to donate to Victoria County Regional Libraries, North and South, and the school libraries. And Cisco by 19, It will be social distancing and the public flag raising, and we will Facebook Live the event in our Facebook page. So all information is in your emails, and we'll get through and we'll send you the flags, and if your constituents asking, but just, you know, give it to them. And I hope so you guys can come. We decide either in Thursday or Monday, so everybody's welcome.
Okay, well, thank you very much for the invitation. Just very quickly, does anybody have a problem with either one of those dates? So maybe we can resolve this right now. Thursday, good for those of us who can make it, 1 o'clock. Sound reasonable?
Okay, so we said it Thursday at 1 o'clock. Perfect. Thank you.
Thursday o'clock. And those books that you had mentioned that we are donating, is there a cost involved with that?
Yes, either if I can buy from my district budget, or if the municipality want to tell the council.
I think certainly donate them. We just need a motion to do so.
Can I make that motion to buy these books and give it to the?
Any idea? Like, are we looking at 2 dozen?
No, it's only for the library, deck, English, the schools, 3, 5, 6 books. That's it. Only 6 books.
Yeah. That's a motion. Anybody wish to second that?
Second.
Second by the deputy warden. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion's carried. We may as well donate those books.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Good project. Well done.
Thanks. And
Anything else?
I would say, sorry, I will invite everybody, see you on Facebook, to the courthouse on Thursday before at 1 o'clock. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you very much.
And also, Perla, it will be live. It'll be Facebook live streamed.
Excuse me. We're going to district number 4. Any district concerns, Councilor McGinnis?
Thank you. Yeah, I guess the last time, our last meeting, I mentioned about the fishery, of course, and now I realize that tourism, when you're out on the road, there's quite a difference in this community. Minerva and I took a drive to Ingonish yesterday, and this time last year you would have met, 150 cars back and forth, but I know we did meet 15 cars yesterday, so there's going to be a big impact on the tourism sector for sure. It's quite a difference when you travel back and forth to see the reduction in traffic. It's just overwhelming. On a Sunday afternoon, a beautiful day yesterday, and so it's going to be a challenge in a few months. Hopefully things will settle down in the fall, but right now it's a concern. That's, I guess, the biggest concern that I have is that.
That's a county concern right across this county. There's no question about it. So,
absolutely.
Thank you for acknowledging. Thank you. District number 5. Anything tonight, sir?
Yeah, just one thing. I mentioned this, I believe, 2 meetings ago, just conversations with some people who manage the local halls. And I actually received an email today wondering if funding would be available. They have no income. Probably it's going to be 6 or 8 months, but they still have to keep the lights on and heated in the winter and so on. Leanne, have we set up criteria for our COVID fund that we've established, how it's to be used?
No, because based on the last budget update that we had, that COVID line had basically disappeared based on loss of revenue that we have. So, but what we thought was, if there was any other money that came out of the grants line, that it would all be COVID related. But I don't think that we have any qualifications for it or criteria for it yet. But anyone is free to apply, to send their applications in. But there's also not-for-profits can apply for some of the provincial governments that have been announced. So Patrick is available. Patrick is helping out a lot of businesses and organizations with applying for funding. So maybe they could reach out to Patrick.
Shortly, and I couldn't, I find it, the sound is terrible today and people are freezing up, but I just figured out, I think it's the weather. I think it's the rain. Anybody else having that difficulty? Like sometimes people are talking and it's just like a still image of them. And then the Ramsey Forest people couldn't hear 90% of what they were saying. And Leanne, I didn't hear much of what you just said either. Who can they apply to, you said? Non-for-profits?
Yeah, the provincial government has announced some programs. So they should be looking to see if, like every day there seems to be new programs that are becoming.
Okay, maybe what I'll do is I'll email you and get the information. Might be the best way to do it. Okay, thanks.
Yep, they can do
Okay,
that.
that's the only thing I had. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Councillor Patterson. We're moving on to district number 6, Deputy Ward.
Thank you, Warden. Just 2 items. Everything's great here in Ingonish as usual, but I do want to send out, commend our Economic Development Officer, Patrick Austin. I've had a lot of calls and requests for information in regards to businesses trying to reopen. And as I struggle to get through all the information, Patrick's been amazing. I forward the request on to Patrick, and he's very prompt at getting the information and has been very helpful. So I'd like to commend Patrick on the great work that he and the Cape Breton Partnership are doing. The other thing, I'd like to make the motion that we send a letter of recognition to Brother Millen, who is the owner and operator manager of the Ingonish Fresh Mart here in Ingonish. Him and his staff have gone beyond what they've done for this community, and very respectful of what's going on with COVID. So it's been a great asset to our community. They've also got a couple of hours every week that they open the store just for healthcare workers. But anyway, I'd like to make that a motion that we send a letter of recognition to Brother Millen at the Fresh Mart in Ingonish Beach.
Thank you, Deputy Ward. Do we have a seconder for that, please?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councillor McDonald. Any discussion on the motion? Motion is carried.
Thank you very much, Warden.
Thank you, sir. District 7, anything down there, sir?
No, nothing new.
Thank you, sir. District 8, anything up there, district concern wise?
Yes, sir. We discussed it quite a bit earlier there regarding the transfer station. I had a call from a couple of residents from Southridge Road regarding the fish oval smell. And just wondering if, I know Public Works has been doing quite a bit to alleviate the problem. If we could ask Public Works maybe to contact other areas to try and remedy a solution here, because this seems to be a year after year issue, and rightfully so. I personally don't feel that they should be dumped there myself. I mean, it's time that we really address this situation, and maybe reach out to Victoria Co-op Fisheries and see what their input is on it. I mean, look, it's a costly initiative towards the county, and the bottom line is that the residents shouldn't be having to endure the smell year after year. So we really got to get the ball rolling on this, so to speak, if we could, please.
Yeah, I would agree with you. It's a fair comment, and I think if it wasn't, we weren't under the state of emergency, we would probably reached out and tried to have a conversation with the co-op fishery at this point. There are issues there, and we do need to sit down and talk with everybody that's involved with it. So maybe what we can do is ask the AO to reach out to the co-op and see if we can sit down, have a meeting with them, and see if we can come up with a solution. If not for this summer, that as we move forward after this summer, because it's been coming to council for a number of years, and the residents that are complaining have every right to complain. As we said earlier, it's very much a nuisance to have that anywhere close to your property. So perhaps Leanne, could you get in touch with Osborne and see if we can set up either a Zoom meeting or have a conversation about trying to address these issues?
Will do. Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you, Councillor, and we will make that a point and see if they are available and if they will meet with us to have a conversation. And you'll be part of that conversation as well, because it's your district.
most definitely. And I appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you, Leanne. Just two other things to concur with Councilor McNeil. I'd like to thank residents in District 8 that have thus far done some community cleanups. They're doing a tremendous job. There's some areas that haven't started. They're going to plan a little bit later, but I'd just like to thank those that have taken the initiative to thus far to do the community cleanups. And lastly, I also like to make a motion that if we could send a letter out to the Bay St. Lawrence Community Center, who, in my opinion, they've worked with United Way and Department of Health and Wellness. They've developed these, they're called COVID kits, where there's a thermometer and then there's medication, and it's given to seniors in the district here. And they've really gone above and beyond, and it's quite a bit of work they've put into that initiative, and they're delivering, and all volunteer, of course, on their part. And I've talked to a few seniors in the area, and they're pretty excited about this, and to know that there's something there to help them out. So if we could just send a letter of thanks,
Sure.
Make a motion to have a letter sent to the Bay St. Lawrence Community Center and thank them for their work thus far with the COVID issue.
Very good. Do we have a seconder for that, please?
Second.
Sorry, I'm not sure who seconded that, but it was seconded.
I second.
Okay. All in favor?
Councillor McNeil.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All in favor? Contrary minded, motion carried. Just got just a note here. Councilor McLeod, did you have something that you wanted to add? Put your hand up.
Yeah, I forget. If we can send a letter to the school board and the academy, maybe the counselors have the same questions about the residents. The prom is not going to happen for the kids this year. So just wonder if the school board or the schools can, plan something social, something for the kids. Like I think they're not going to do anything at all. So maybe just something. Maybe they can, I don't know, outdoors or something. They give it a chance to the kids can have that prom.
Okay, we can come. Yeah, absolutely. So we put that in the form of a motion. Okay, we have
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. We have a seconder for that, please.
Second.
By Councilor McGinnis, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And just a couple of very minor notes here. We just received a note from Facebook. There were two comments on about just adding to the TIR the West Side Middle River Road, just to again express that paving needs to start there, and also some patching on 20th Street near the Greenwood Church. So we'll add those on. Are we okay with that? We'll include them with the list. I don't think we need a motion for that, but we'll include those two items on the list. We okay with that?
Good.
I have
actually, Warden, Warden, can I just add one other thing? I got a text from our EMO coordinator stating that it's because of the amount of people in each car that they have to limit in case there's an emergency on the ferry for social distancing, and that's why at times there's only allowed 6 cars on the ferry. So
good to know, and we
thank you to our EMO coordinator for clearing that up.
For a timely response. Just in my district, one thing I just report on, as mentioned, Simmers, we have a community cleanup here June 6th. We call it Adopt a Street. We're working with BAPTA in the village on that, and we're hoping that individuals step forward. They will help pick up the litter on their street. The second item, I had circulated a couple of pages earlier on. A couple of years ago at council, we had agreed that we would provide medals commemorating any volunteer fire department that established 25-year service in their department, and we would present them with a medal. So we received a design that I asked to be sent around to councillors today. So that design is there. Is everybody okay with it? Can we proceed with perhaps ordering a certain amount of these medals And it'll be up to the fire departments to contact the municipality to ask that these medals be presented to any firefighters, volunteer firefighters that have put in 25 years. So it's, are we okay to move? Are you okay with the design? So
Looks good to me.
good.
Good.
We
Looks
good with
fine.
that?
Yep.
I just,
Yep.
we were just kind of struggling earlier because I asked Leanne and Heather to distribute the information. I have no idea how many we should order. Like, I don't think we need to order 3,000 of them or anything, but I think it's just a small number to start with. And then I think if we ask Lyle to perhaps contact the fire departments and see how many people in each of the departments in the municipality would qualify, and then we can use that as a number. Does that sound reasonable? So we will ask Lyle to contact the departments and find out what the numbers are, and then we'll leave it up to the departments to make arrangements to have these presented when and if necessary. So we good with that? Thank you very much. The last item, the last two items, because remember we are going in camera. Are there any committee reports this evening? Bylaw and policy review, any, Leanne, that you want to bring forward tonight?
Yeah, so we have two bylaws that we're at our first reading for. The first is the electronic voting bylaw. And in my experience, I haven't passed very many bylaws yet. So I may need Heather's help on this for what has to happen. Do we actually read the bylaw? No.
It's been circulated.
It has been circulated, that one as well as the water and septic lending program bylaw. So we will have to set a public hearing related to those, a public hearing date.
Heather, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we have to, do we have to have a motion to accept the first reading and then the second reading and then go to the public meeting?
Yes, you do. Yeah, you'll have to, this will be the first reading and you set a date for a public hearing prior to a council session when public can put their input into them. And they
So
have to be available to be reviewed until then. Maybe put on the website or however you want to do it.
So we would have to have a separate motion for each of those two bylaws. So we need
I
a motion.
would, yeah.
Yes, thank you. So can we have a motion to the first bylaw, Leanne, you mentioned was the electronic voting?
Yeah, so the electronic voting, so the way that it is written there now is that it is on the day of voting, the electronic voting begin in advance vote and be terminated prior to election day. And then voting on election day, as it is currently written is that it is electronic, meaning telephone or internet. And is everyone good with that? That it would go to 100% electronic? It's probably the right thing to do this year.
I'm in agreement with that, Leanne.
We're all in
Yeah, me
agreement?
too.
Do we have anybody
Yeah,
against?
I am.
You are against, opposed to it? Electronic?
Oh, no, I'm in agreement with it.
Sorry, there's just a little delay, as Councillor Patterson said. Sometimes we get that just in the. So I think we can, then if we're okay with the wording in that bylaw, then we need a motion to accept the first reading of that bylaw this evening.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor McGinnis, seconded by.
There was just, when it went out to all councillors, there's just a couple of things that need to be cleaned up down at the bottom. And I brought that to Heather's attention and that'll be cleaned up, so, okay?
And that'll be reflected in the bylaw. So we need a seconder for that, if we could, please.
I second McLeod.
Councillor McLeod, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Reminded, so the first reading is been approved, and we'll follow the sequence for the proper procedures as we move forward. The second bylaw is,
The second bylaw is the water septic lending program bylaw. So it's really an amendment to the water lending bylaw by adding in the septic piece of it. And you've all received a copy of that in advance as well.
right,
And have
And-
made some changes.
and, okay, and reflect the changes you received. So do we have a motion to accept that bylaw this evening, please? First reading.
So moved.
Councillor Budge, seconded by
Second.
Deputy Warden, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very much, motion is carried. Thank you very much. So that's our bylaws.
So
Any
should we set a date for the public hearing?
Yes, usually we do it we could do both, and we usually do it at an afternoon of council at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So just want to check with Heather, do we do 2 readings or 1, Heather? You're muted, Heather, if you can hear me.
Yeah, we would do, you can have the one public hearing for both on the
Yes.
same day. They'd just be separate issues, but yeah, on the one day. And it has to be published in the newspaper 14 days. So it couldn't be the next council. It would have to be a later one.
Okay, so we only do 1 reading before we go to the public meeting,
Yeah, you do the public hearing and you can do the second final reading that night.
that night. Perfect, that's what I thought. Thank you very much for providing information. To go to the source on some of this stuff. Is there any committee reports? Sorry, we did that, or did I jump that?
We're sort of on the same block there. We have a couple of policy reviews.
I'm sorry, that's, excuse me. What
Yes.
policy?
Yep, so you received a copy of the electronic meeting policy. And there were changes that were noted on that one as well. So you have received a final copy of the electronic meeting policy, as well as the property tax installment program policy.
Right.
Which is the one related to the financing.
So you would need a motion to approve both those policies tonight. So I think we can do, since they are policies, I think we could do them both, in this, well, unless everybody's in agreement. Anybody not in agreement, both at the same time? Can we have a motion to accept both those policies?
So moved.
I heard Councillor McGinnis first. Who's second? Do we have a seconder for that, please?
Seconded.
Councillor McLeod, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any discussion on the motion? Motion is carried.
Great.
Anything else? Next meeting of council before we go in camera.
Question?
Sorry.
Yeah, just question, Warden, for the next council, I know on the return to work policy, I believe it said phase 2 for council to meet again. I could be corrected on that, but I'm just wondering for next council, is there any possibility we could meet in person at the chambers? I think we got enough room for social distancing there, but just wondering what everybody else's thoughts would be on that.
No, it's a good point. We talked about that this morning. In fact, we even talked about maybe with the building open today, but I think in the next meeting, it will be partially or fully attended live, so to speak. So, yeah.
Larry, we're hoping that that the next phase that we're opening up is next week. And that would mean that we are, so council session in that return to work policy would be council only at that. And we will have to see if we can continue on with the Facebook Live for the public piece of it. So we're
Right.
hoping, yes, we're hoping.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
So we haven't picked a date yet, but we should also use that date as the date for the public hearing as well. So what date in July should we, or in June, our next meeting in June, I should deal with that first, sorry. The next date in June is 2 weeks from
So,
today.
Yeah, it probably would depend on Norman. Our next meeting is probably the 15th, and then after that would be the 29th.
So the 15th, okay with you, Councillor McDonald?
Yes, sir. Both dates are fine with me.
Okay, so we'll schedule the 15th. I don't think we can have the public hearing on those dates. We'll have to have the public hearing on the subsequent meeting after that. And to Deputy Warden's point, if restrictions are relaxed at that point, we will have our council meeting at a regular council location. And I think with the size of that building, it's big enough for separation, social distancing. We'll have to check on whether or not public access will be, I'm just not sure, but we'll work those details out. It's a good point, absolutely. We look forward to getting back and meeting as a group. It's just an easier way to conduct business, that's for sure. CBC was monitored. Adam McNamara was sitting in on the meeting, and if he is available, do you have any quick questions before we go in camera? We'll either maybe offer you a comment or direct the question to the appropriate individual. So any questions, sir?
Thank you, Warden. Thanks for your time. I have 3 questions, if you guys don't mind.
Okay.
You mentioned the last couple of meetings, microloans with low rates connected to the loans that you guys will be giving out to for property taxes.
Yes.
I was just curious to see if the rates for the loans have been decided yet.
I'll leave that to the CAO to comment on. They have.
Yes, so the rate will be set at 1.35% per annum.
Okay, thank you. And is there any word on when the portal will be open for that? For applying?
So the portal is almost set to go. It should be opening up within the next couple of weeks. We just have to get now that the policy is approved, we can forward the things within our policy to AMANS, who is in charge of making the changes on the portal on the backside, and should be up and running within the next week or so.
Thank you.
And your next question?
And yeah, Ward Morrison, thank you. I was wondering if there's any specifics that you could give me on what you want to achieve by getting your own charter.
We're just looking into it right now, and it'd probably be premature to comment on it, but it just allows you a little bit more freedom to operate as a municipality. We're bound and restricted by the Municipal Government Act, and if you have your own charter, you have more opportunities to operate outside of that act, and we haven't quite had that conversation yet. We're just looking in to see what the process is. The other municipalities and some of the cities have them now, and it allows them to be creative as far as being potentially able to attract development and those types of issues. And we want to look at it and see what's involved and see what the benefits are, if there are benefits at this point. And I would refer in unless CAO wants to add anything else to that comment.
I think that it would be to promote economic development.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
Is that it? Is that
That's
your
it.
question? Well, thank you, sir. And thanks for dropping in on us this evening. So our next dates for council is June 15th. I'm not sure if we have presentations in the queue for that. We will see the agenda when Heather gets it out. And is there anything else to come to council tonight? If not, I would like to have a motion for council to go in camera. We are dealing with a property issue, which is what we are permitted to go in, one of the permissions to go into in camera. So we need a motion to go in camera, and then we'll be closing the site, so to speak. So we have a motion for this to go in camera.
So moved.
Thank you, Councillor McNeil. Do we have a seconder, please?
So moved. Second it.
Councillor McGinnis, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? So we'd like to thank those of you that joined us this evening for our council session, and we are going to end this portion of it here. We are going to go on camera. So thank you very much.